Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Neil Haley Network. And what's really, really cool about the Neil Haley Network is we end up having some really awesome new programming. The 10th year's been this kind of thing, and so I have been creating podcasts and coming up with new shows, and we're going to have the Evolve podcast now. And so first I want to introduce from Evolve, and he's going to do the introduction, Lang Thomas. Lang, thanks for calling. You know, you're the network marketing pro. We did that show before, and it really all that's available at my website, neilhaley.com. But Lang, thanks for coming on and introducing this awesome show we're going to do today.
Hey, thanks, Neil.
I'm excited.
Absolutely. I appreciate you allowing us to come on the show to help educate the consumers and people out there that are looking at this new industry. So thank you very much, for sure.
All right, so tell us who our guest is, and this is a great way to start the first Evolve podcast is to have the CEO. So introduce our CEO.
Yeah, so this is our CEO of Evolve Health, Mr. Sam Castor, that has done a lot in this industry over the last 25 years, and he's going to catch up to date in the hemp CBD world of his product with his company. So here's Mr. Sam Castor.
Thanks, Lang. Great to be on the call today. And hi, Neil.
Hey, how are you, Sam? And so
I'm doing well.
Let's talk about your background and what got you involved into the CBD industry and stuff.
Okay, well, first of all, I've been in research and development of nutritional compositions for almost 30 years now. And, I have filed and received over 100 patents on nutritional compositions worldwide. And what we're always looking for is what is the next big breakthrough in health? What can support the body's normal functions of defense, recovery? And that's exactly what got me into this field to begin with. And we've been, just wildly successful over the last 30 years in bringing out the most cutting edge technologies in nutritional science. And I just love the field because at the end of the day, what happens is all of our consumers have fantastic responses. And that's something that you don't get on a paycheck.
For sure. And from that experience, what led you into the CBD world, the hemp and CBD world?
Well, one of the things that we've always looked at is we start with the basis of the father of pharmacology was a man named Paracelsus. And in the 1600s, he said something very profound. He said, everything, not some things, everything that man needs to achieve and sustain health is provided by God and nature. It's the job of science to find it. And so that's what we've done. We have focused all of our efforts on the science of finding nature's most powerful molecules, non-toxic molecules. And, we've done some amazing work. We've seen some phenomenal responses over the last 30 years, but there always seemed to be something that didn't quite connect all the dots. And so it's like something's missing in the equation. And it wasn't until the 1990s that scientists discovered a system in the human body called the endocannabinoid system.
Okay.
And it's a system that regulates everything in your body. So it's the master regulator of human physiology. I mean, so when you're thinking about what could you impact, to provide health, you got to put that at the very top of the list. And so once that was discovered, they realized that there are a couple of plants, but the one that has the most abundant supply of these molecules in nature to support that system is the cannabis plant. And that's, two different plants. That's marijuana, of course, and the other one is hemp. They're two completely different plants. And the difference is that marijuana is full of the narcotic, which is called THC.
Right.
And hemp has almost none of it. In fact, you can absolutely take it all out. So then all you get is the health benefits from it and none of the psychotropic benefits or impact. So anyway, when I saw the hemp research coming out, I realized that was probably the missing link. The big issue was Congress, years ago in the 1930s, had classified all of those plants together as Schedule 1 narcotics. So, they put hemp in the same category as marijuana. Just recently, in fact, in December, they changed that. And they made hemp a botanical, which is what it is. And now you can grow it in every state. You can start extracting, these incredible molecules from the hemp plant called phyto, which means plant cannabinoids, and start building technologies to support human physiology using plants that we haven't been able to for the last 50, 60 years.
And it's amazing to see these health benefits and what happens. And the system that has developed is amazing, Sam. In the last, again, once we talk about medical marijuana, which is a term used a lot, even with hemp oil. Medical marijuana has become a very big term in Pennsylvania. So I'm going to throw you in a question there because of my base of Pittsburgh and going to the medical marijuana conference and stuff, learning specifically the World Medical Marijuana Conference, learning about how hemp and CBD are defined in that way as a product like that.
Well, what marijuana and hemp, and again, those are two completely different plants, but in the same species. What they both have in common is they're full of these things called phytocannabinoids. And THC, which is the narcotic that is in marijuana, is a cannabinoid. Uh-huh. So it's just one of over 100 cannabinoids that exist in these plants. Here's what is kind of interesting is they used to think it was the THC that caused or that created all the benefits. What they're realizing is that it's really the CBD, CBG, CBN, all these other cannabinoids that influence the endocannabinoid system and create, the true benefits. It's not that THC, doesn't have a narcotic benefit for people that are struggling with certain issues. But when you're looking at the overall impact on physiology, like, the endocannabinoid systems, effect on memory and mood and sleep and pain sensation and energy and balance, immune function, metabolism, and inflammation, all those can be addressed through the other cannabinoids. You mentioned CBD. There's 100 of them in there. CBD is the most prominent. But I think there's a little bit of misinformation in the market that you have to have marijuana in order to get the benefits. That's not the case. Actually, the other cannabinoids have a huge influence over, again, the endocannabinoid system in the body.
So I think so I think, Sam, the confusion I have, and I'm glad we're doing this podcast, and then I'm going to go that Lang definitely has more knowledge of me, even though I interviewed all these people, is cannabis is not marijuana.
Cannabis is a species of plant of which it's kind of like saying citrus. Is citrus oranges? Yes. Is citrus limes? Yes. Is citrus grapefruit? Yes. So there's different plants or trees in the citrus family. There's different plants in the cannabis family.
So that's a confusion. I mean, something I wouldn't have thought of. So there is for sure, in a lot of ways, that I think that people sometimes define I'm smoking cannabis versus I'm smoking marijuana.
That's exactly right. It probably sounds better to say I'm smoking cannabis. It's true. You are.
Yes. Okay. So just
like
one of the
citrus today.
So the argument, and this is an argument, and I'm going to ask some questions to Lang as well, especially when we get in more into the product that is about to launch, is that I think that, as we say, the medical. Why are people defining hemp oil as medical marijuana then?
Just lack of knowledge, just ignorance, because it has nothing to do with marijuana. That'd be like saying our grapefruit juice is a new form of orange. It's not. It's a completely different plant. So hemp, for instance, hemp has 0.3 THC in it. Marijuana has 20% THC. So obviously the composition of those plants are completely different. And so it's just ignorance if somebody says that my hemp plant is marijuana.
And see that this interesting thing. So basically, the basic cannabis plant has hemp and marijuana in it. Correct.
Cannabis species.
Species. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
So that's where I think the confusion comes. And Lang, let's see if you can go with. I'm going to throw this over to Lang. How are you understanding this? Getting new into the industry, Lang.
Right. I mean, obviously, this was new to me, even though I have known of Sam's experience and what he's done over the last 25, 30 years. This was still new to me. So I had to start understanding it and deciphering and understand what's the difference between, CBD and hemp and full spectrum and broad spectrum. And so from getting in this industry and being educated by Sam along the way is there's a huge difference in full spectrum and broad spectrum. They both have all the 100 plus cannabinoids in them, but the difference is that if you say full spectrum, you're saying you have all of them, which will have that trace of THC, as Sam said, of that like 0.3%. But if you say broad spectrum, okay, now, like Sam said, you can extract the THC out. So now we have all the cannabinoids in this product without the THC, which is huge because of if you have a zero tolerance employer, they're not going to be happy with a full spectrum if you had a random drug test. So that is a major difference. Well, I shouldn't say just a major difference, but one of the differences of what Evolve has over a lot of other companies. But we've added in, which I would let Sam go into this, some other powerful components to make ours above and beyond anything out on the market by far. Nothing close.
And we will get to that for sure. I just am really kind of pointing the direction educationally is my background in education to understand, because when I do more podcasts and develop more knowledge and direct people to Evolve Health, I want to know, and this is a question for you, Sam, I want to know if, let's say, there was a legalization of marijuana in all 50 states. That just like in how hemp now has been available because of the Farm Bill. We can get to that in a little bit. Again, we were covering an event last week on the Neil Haley Network that was very, very informative involving this. So this is where I'm at least gaining some more background knowledge. Is there a difference? Because there are people that will go out there, especially if they're in Colorado or California or certain places where marijuana is legalized. Is there a difference between medical marijuana and medical cannabis versus, let's go hemp oil types of medical help versus marijuana medical help?
Okay, so again, what exists in the cannabis species, whether it's hemp or marijuana, are these molecules called phyto, which means plant cannabinoids. And so it's the cannabinoids that influence the endocannabinoid system in the human body. The difference between hemp and marijuana is the composition of the cannabinoids. In marijuana, it's predominantly THC, which is the narcotic cannabinoid. In hemp, it's all the rest of them, like you've heard the term CBD, which is just one of the over 100 cannabinoids in the hemp plant. CBD is in both hemp and marijuana. The question is, do you get as good a benefit without THC? And in terms of influencing the endocannabinoid system, the answer is yes. So you can get actually better response in many cases from hemp because it has a higher level of the full spectrum of cannabinoids than marijuana does. If your objective is to get high or to use a narcotic effect, then you'd want medical marijuana. But in terms of just overall health benefits, actually the profile in hemp is more conducive to overall health than the profile in marijuana. So I hope that's that's not too technical, but that's really the difference between the two.
And that's what we want people to know, especially listening to this podcast, is to be informed, because there are going to be questions, Sam, right? There are going to be a lot of questions, especially when somebody shares this Evolve Health product to people saying, well, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with anything that involves cannabis. And that's the biggest thing. But the bottom line is you're getting, with no THC, it's not the marijuana that's in this. And that really changes the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And, even in hemp, there's a trace amount of THC that just naturally occurs. And as Lang was saying, when you process that, that's called full spectrum hemp oil. It has that trace amount of THC. Or there's new processes that completely take out the THC, and you can actually get that certified, like the state of Colorado can certify it. You can do certificates of analysis to show that, and that's called broad spectrum hemp oil. So if you don't want any THC, which, by the way, we don't, there's not enough to cause any kind of physiological benefit, so why even have it in there, period? And especially for people who want, to administer this to their children, people who are concerned about testing positive to any kind of narcotic in their job, zero THC is the way to go. That's called broad spectrum.
Wow. Okay. So let's talk about now the product development. What was the reasoning? You said you researched this, you saw some of the benefits, and then what made you want to come to Evolve to bring this product?
Well, okay. So first of all, the science of these phytocannabinoids is just overwhelming.
Yes, it truly is.
Yeah, you can see without a doubt that it impacts the system in the body. It regulates everything. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, they were extracting a particular cannabinoid, just like you might extract THC if you want just a pure narcotic. The industry was extracting what is called CBD. That's cannabidiol. That is one hemp phytocannabinoid. And what they found is that there's other molecules in the hemp plant that actually enhance the effectiveness of all these cannabinoids. So the extraction of CBD was not nearly as efficacious as the full plant composition was. So from a science standpoint, that's the first thing we discovered is we don't want isolates. We don't want CBD by itself because it's not nearly as effective as the composition, as it exists in the plant. And by the way, that's the way it is in nature. A lot of times, sort of the pharmaceutical approach is extract one ingredient. And what they find is it's not nearly as effective as what exists in the plant. So, there's a natural synergy of molecules that exist in the plant, and that's the way it is in hemp. The second thing we found out from a science standpoint is in order for cannabinoids to work in the human body, they got to get into your bloodstream because that's the delivery system to all these receptor sites that regulate physiology. And to get into the bloodstream, that's a term called bioavailability. In other words, how much is actually absorbed. And these are big, fat, soluble molecules which are not easily absorbed. In fact, if you swallow hemp oil, you get about 4% absorption, which means 96% just goes to waste. So we found out that there are ways of processing this broad spectrum full composition where you can actually nano-size these molecules. In other words, you could take them down maybe 100 times their original molecular weight, which enhances the bioavailability 5 to 7 times more than in its natural composition. So again, these are all science-based discoveries for how to increase the efficacy of hemp oil. And then last but not least, some of the molecules in the plant that cause this effect, what they call the entourage effect, in other words, why is it better than just the isolate? Because there's a set of molecules called terpenes. And terpenes actually have their own benefit, just like the cannabinoids do. But they're dramatically important in terms of helping the absorption and utilization of the cannabinoids, like the CBD molecule. And but the problem is they're very fragile, so you can damage or actually destroy them in the extraction process. So we learned that adding terpenes back helps protect that entourage effect, or that natural effect that occurs from a full plant composition. So those are some of the things that we learned just through the science of how to process to get the maximum efficacy out of the plant itself.
And that's so interesting. So, Lang, as you were listening, what things come to mind when Sam's explaining this to you?
Well, again, it's been very informative myself learning all this and the details behind the science. Because if you don't do all these different things, you're not going to get, obviously, the same product, which most companies won't do. It's much more cost prohibitive. And Sam can also explain and add in the other last element that takes us to a whole nother level beyond just the entourage effect. So I'd definitely love for him to share that too on even the next phase of one step bigger that really makes your immune system go into overdrive with the health capacity of what it can do.
Right. Yes. Let's learn more and more about how the development. You were talking about the development of the product, the thought process of what to do to what it is today.
Yeah. So Neil, the last thing that we do. So first of all, we take all those processing, components into consideration. But 25 years ago, I was working with a pharmaceutical company in Dallas, Texas, that discovered the bioactive molecule in the aloe vera plant that gave aloe vera its reputation for, immune support. And it's a molecule called ace-mannan. And it's a labile molecule, which means that if you don't stabilize it within about 24 hours of the time that you harvest the leaf, it completely denatures. So, back in the 1990s, you had a $5 billion aloe vera product industry, and not one of the products had its active ingredient that was responsible for its reputation. So this company identified the molecule, stabilized it, received over 150 patents, and then exclusively licensed it to me to take into the marketplace, which I did, and probably sold $3-4 billion worth of products over the next 20 years containing that molecule. So when I first saw CBD and I saw what it was doing in terms of regulating human physiology, what first popped into my head is the synergistic impact that could be created by mixing ace-mannan with, this new composition of hemp molecules.
Right, correct.
And so we did a small clinical trial, and the results just jumped off the page in terms of, or just went through the roof. And so that was the last thing I added to our product, is a standardized level of these ace-mannan molecules so that I get that synergistic effect. And it's so unique and so different that, I was able to file a composition of matter patent on this new composition of, hemp oil processed appropriately, nano-sized, emulsified, broad spectrum, all the things that we just talked about. So you get the best utilization of the cannabinoids, the best absorption of the cannabinoids, and the best synergistic effect by combining it with ace-mannan. And that's really what makes this product so unique and so different in the market. And just to give you some perspective, Neil, analysts are predicting that the hemp industry will grow to $22 billion over the next 3 to 4 years. That's how much pent-up demand there is, for the health benefits that come through this kind of intervention. And, there'll be the cheapest products out there. Those would be like the CBD isolates. They're not bioavailable, but they are cheap. And to an ignorant marketplace, and I don't mean stupid, I mean just uneducated marketplace.
Sam, I know what you're talking about. When you're talking ignorant marketplace, you're talking about specifically people are not educated to the CBD hemp oil world. They're still stuck into the fact of why even there has been any sort of legalization of this plant, right? And am I correct when you're talking about that?
Yeah, that's right. We're just talking about an uneducated marketplace, somebody that just doesn't know the facts. And, Neil, I went through this in the aloe vera industry. When we first brought out its active ingredient, Ace Mannin, I had people all over the place saying, well, I tried aloe vera and it didn't work for me. And it's like, well, yeah, but it was missing the one ingredient that causes the body to respond to it. And that's what we have patented, and that's what we are bringing. So then they tried again. All of a sudden, everything works. Same thing. If you get a CBD isolate and it's only 4% absorption rate and it has no entourage effect with the other molecules, chances are you're not going to get the kind of response that you are looking for. But that doesn't mean that hemp doesn't work. It just means the product that you bought didn't work.
Right.
And so that's the education process that we have to go through. I was telling Lang on the break that people say, I've tried aloe vera and it didn't work. Well, you know what? It's 99.5% water. So without Ace Mannin, it's just bad tasting water. So that's exactly what we're talking about with him.
Absolutely. So, and then you learned that from that process. And so let's talk about right now, because we can go into so many different things, the Farm Bill, things like that, and that's setting up for other. So when I listen to this, I'll say, what will be the next podcast? Because again, everyone needs to go ahead and listen to it in different places. But tell us specifically about the product right now that's available, and then how we can find information on that product.
Okay. So the product is called Entourage Squared. So entourage with a little 2 after it. In other words, the entourage effect is the whole composition minus the THC. How do you multiply that effect in human physiology? You square it. You add terpenes back in, you add Ace Mannin to it, and all of a sudden you have a composition that is unlike anything in the market in terms of its efficacy. So Entourage Squared is the name of the product. Evolve Health is the name of the company that you get it through, and Lang Thomas is the person to talk to.
Okay, Lang, go ahead and give your information out for our audience where they can contact you.
Sure. I'm going to go ahead and give my email address. I'll even actually give my phone number. Not my email address, I'm sorry, the actual address to go and read up on and order from for anybody that'd like to order this product. So it's lifelonghealth.myevolve, MYEVOLV.com. So lifelonghealth.myevolve.com. And my number is 682-717-9171. So feel free to go to my site or reach out to me personally. I'll be glad to help you from there.
Okay, you're listening to Neil Haley's show, and we'll be back in just a moment. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Neil Haley Network's Evolve Health Radio Show. I'm co-hosting with some very experts in health. I'm excited first to welcome a counterpart. We've done things together with Network Marketing Pros and different things. Lang Thomas. Lang, how are you today again? And thanks.
Doing great. Thanks for having me on now.
Awesome. Fantastic. And also, I'm excited to always have this guy on. It's an honor to have CEO of Evolve Health, Sam Castor. Sam, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks. Great to be here.
Absolutely. And really, this is a news event because we've been talking about on the first episode the difference between CBD, hemp, what the ramifications of the Farm Bill, all these different things involved because people are still very confused. Sam, I drive down the streets in Pittsburgh all the time and I see all these people, CBD oil this, CBD oil that, or I have the CBD product. And we don't know how the results have been. And it's just basically anybody's trying to jump on this. But the difference with this product is you were a part of a symposium that you presented and talked about the product and also other things. So kind of get us involved in the symposium you were involved in, Sam.
Okay, so a few weeks ago, there's an international symposium on cannabis, and it's called Canna Mexico. And people from about 16 countries attend. And it's hosted by the former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox. And really what it is is a symposium that basically talks about the global impact the entire cannabis industry is having on the world. You know, its role in modern healthcare, how it works, how do you farm it, how do you process it appropriately, what gives the best results. A lot of doctors there. In fact, the very first speaker was a medical neurologist, just kind of giving perspective to the industry. And what was really interesting about this guy is he said, you know, I've been doing medical neurology for, you know, my entire life, and I've never seen the kind of results or impacts on my patients that are being made with cannabis technologies. And so there was also science presentations there. You know, how does it actually work in the human body? Why does it have such a big effect? How do you maximize that effect? And the role that I played is every year they look for the most innovative technologies that are coming out within the cannabis industry. And of course, cannabis is a species of plant that includes both marijuana and hemp. And so this symposium covers sort of both spectrums. What is the medical community doing, as well as what is the dietary supplement industry doing with hemp? So this year's most innovative technology that they picked was our product, which is Entourage Squared. And I was asked to do a presentation on that and kind of how did we advance, you know, the role of these phytocannabinoids that are found in hemp into a more efficacious technology for dietary supplementation. So that's why I was invited, and that's the presentation that I made.
And Sam, that's very, very interesting. And it's an honor for you to have that opportunity to present that as an innovative new product line and to explain how you did it to the people at the symposium. So kind of how did they decide that again, this product's a great product to present at the symposium? How did the people see that they thought this was innovative? How did they come up with that process?
Well, I think first of all, science is, you mentioned a minute ago that there's CBD oil sellers on every corner. You know, I mean, they're just popping up everywhere because there's a huge reputation for what these cannabinoids, those are the molecules that are in hemp, can do. The most predominant is CBD. What the public is not aware of is what is the science behind it. In other words, for instance, CBD is a fat-soluble molecule that is very hard for the body to absorb. And if you can't get it into the bloodstream, it does nothing, you know, in your body.
Exactly.
Well, the bioavailability of CBD, for instance, is about 5%. So nobody knows that. They're just out there buying CBD oil. And it's not that they don't get any benefit, but they're not getting a bang for the buck because it's just ignorance. They don't know. And so what we look at is how do you enhance the bioavailability? How do you change it from 5% to 90%? You know, and you do that by the way you process it. You know, you emulsify it through sonic emulsification, which does two things. It breaks down the size of the molecule, you know, like 100 times smaller, so it's easier to absorb. And then you change the polarity of the molecule so that it becomes what's called hydrophilic. And all that means is that it attaches to water molecules. And of course, water is the most bioavailable substance, you know, in the world for human physiology. So when you do those two things, you change the absorption from 5 to 90%. So instead of 95% going to waste in the body, you know, 90% is now converted into usable cannabinoids. And then when you combine that with Ace-Mannan, which is our immune activating technology from the aloe vera plant, now you've got something that is completely different than anything going on in the marketplace. But to answer your question, how did we find out about it? It's really interesting. The President Fox and his wife have a major charity in Mexico called, it's part of the Fox Center. And so what they do is they take care of medically fragile children as one of their projects all over the country. And the way that they do that is through a technology that I co-developed several years ago that enhances the immune response, and that's this Ace Mannin technology. So we help support their not-for-profit with Ace Mannin. So when they found out that I was combining Ace Mannin with these hydrophilic cannabinoids, they said, oh my gosh, this could be the kind of technology that changes everything. Could you have a conversation, with the people that are running Canna Mexico, because they're looking for what is the best new innovative technology this year. We think you guys have got it. So that's how the introduction was made. It was from the very top, President Fox and his wife.
And that's fantastic for you because the product Entourage Squared launched only a few months ago, that you get this opportunity to present this, showing, hey, you know what? We are trying to differentiate ourselves in the cannabis world. We're trying to provide the best product possible to show the best benefits by how we process it, but also using Ace Mannin in a way to put it together to make your product not, you can't differentiate. You have to it's very differentiation, very easy to differentiate. So you're able to really show, hey, here's the comparisons of our product versus some other product. And here are what we were able to do so that we get the most benefit from the cannabis plant, but also add Ace Mannin into the mix to make it even a better product than anything out in the market today.
Yeah, I was talking to an oncologist down there at the meeting, and they said, the hottest new technology, and they said, we think it's going to be much more, effective than chemotherapy and radiation and things like that because it's non-invasive. And so what they do is they find the antibodies that alert the immune system to, the presence of cancer cells. And each antibody is different. So every tumor, every different type of cancer has different antibodies. And they said it's just a remarkable technology. So they can duplicate those antibodies, put them into human physiology, and it alerts the immune system to find those kind of cancer cells. They said, here's the biggest problem, is almost everybody's immune system that got cancer is just so compromised, that if you don't upregulate the basic functions of immunology, it's not nearly as effective. So when they saw this technology, they were excited because they said, look, CBD and cannabinoids in hemp, a very immediate and profound effect on the symptoms of chronic disorders because they bring homeostasis, like they manage pain, they manage, anxiety, they manage those types of things. They said, but the permanent repair comes from enhanced immune support. And so we're looking for both. We're looking for the short-term benefit and then the long-term impact on getting to the root cause of why those conditions exist in the first place. And they said, so your product is the only product on the market that goes to both ends of the spectrum. And that's why we were recognized for what we're doing.
Fantastic. We're going to kind of go into more detail, but because again, we're here on the Neil Haley Network's Evolve Health radio show. Based on this radio show, I want to get Lang Thomas's take on this for a business opportunity or an opportunity to get this product now. What does that show based on what the cannabis world has said about this product? What is your take, Lang, on that?
Yes, as somebody in the layman world of not really knowing much about hemp and cannabis and the magic word marijuana, it was a learning curve for me, and I'm blessed. I've known Sam for years and years now, a couple of decades, and knowing how he understands technology. So by me being introduced into this hemp world, Sam does a great job in layman's terms of breaking it down so you understand it. So he's always been ahead of the curve in technology and in this industry. And so it's a blessing because people just don't know. Like Sam said, they're just ignorant. They don't know what they don't know. And you got to get educated. And to think that something's got to be odd, if you think about it, that CBD is just on every corner. I mean, is it really that simple to get it and sell it? And so everybody wanted to get to the forefront the fastest to make their dollar. And Sam said, we're not going to do that. We're studying some technology that could change the whole industry with hemp. So yes, we didn't come out first. So we waited. And because of that, as you see, Sam got invited to the Canna Mexico Symposium because of that. So the great thing is if I'm going to put my name on a product or a business even, then I better be able to back it up. And that's what makes us different is, so the business proposition is huge because this is unlike anything else out there. And the technology has been proven. So on the business side of it, that's where I want to be. I want to be at the forefront of the best technology in the world that is helping boost those systems in our body that we need to impact sickness and disease. So for the business side, it'll be the greatest opportunity you could ever jump on and run with.
Because of that differentiator and the opportunity to either use the product to help yourself or else help lots of people. And we're going to get into the social aspect in our next episode. So Sam, talk about some of the benefits that through the presentation that you've seen so far from Entourage Squared. Tell us, when you did in the symposium, your presentation, some of the benefits from using this product.
Well, so what the endocannabinoid system does in the body is there's receptor sites on cells in your brain, in your spine, in your immune system, key glands and organs, and it helps manage what is called homeostasis, balance in the body. But when you get things like stress and toxicity and malnutrition and all those issues that play a role in throwing your body out of balance, that's when you start expressing pain, all the symptoms of chronic disorders: pain, lack of sleep, stress, anxiety. And so as you start bringing your body back into homeostasis through this intervention, you see a reduction in all those symptoms. So, those are the key things that people are looking for. It's just quality of life improvement across the board. But they don't want just a Band-Aid effect. Like, I don't want it just to go away for 3 or 4 hours, then come back. I'd like somehow for it to go away forever. So that's why, both of these technologies together make such a big difference. We can give you immediate relief from, the biggest challenges that people have in their quality of life: sleep, cognitive ability, remembering things, pain sensation. All those things get addressed pretty quickly if you get cannabinoids into the bloodstream. But then the long-term effect is, I want my body to heal itself of all this nonsense. And so that's the 1-2 punch that we deliver that nobody in this industry does. And let me just add this: that was so unique of a composition, putting those two things together, that we were able to file patents, composition patents, on combining these two amazing technologies.
That makes you different than any other product. And that's why I brought up the word differentiator earlier in the program, Sam, and you completely agree with me. And the thing is, there's 2 ways to be successful as a product. One is first to market, and the other is being a differentiator compared to every other competitor. And you have that.
That's right.
Sometimes,
we're in for the long-term play. We realize that there's a lot of stuff out there in the market. But, I've talked to dozens and dozens of people saying, I tried CBD and really didn't see anything. And once you explain that only 5% of it got into your bloodstream, no wonder they go, oh, I get it. So being able to differentiate ourselves both through science and through unique patented technology give us the ability to grow and then, more importantly, sustain our business strategy.
So all the benefits that we've seen, Sam, so far with CBD oil and hemp oil, anything with the CBD hemp products, this product can do, correct? What we're hearing, like some of them have these different ideas where I have this product for this and I have this product for that, and this is how it benefits someone here and this is how it benefits someone there. That's, like where there's multiple products for multiple different types of symptoms to heal them. Yeah.
And so what they do is if you've got a weak form of hemp and you're trying to affect better sleep, then you'd add melatonin to it, which is already a known herb for helping, sleep. And so you don't need to add those things if you've got a good quality, highly absorbable hemp product, because that's what cannabinoids do. So you take all those things that you're seeing in the market and multiply the effect, and that's what you get with us.
So you got to be excited, and then I'm going to ask one more question to Lang in layman's terms, but you got to be really excited about this, Sam. I mean, like enthused of the experience presenting, and then now and being recognized, and now seeing the benefits that the consumer can have from this product.
I introduced the first stabilized Ace Mannin technology 25 years ago. And over the next 25 years, I saw some of the most amazing health responses you could possibly imagine. And now we're just compounding that, with this high quality hemp, and we're getting a synergistic effect that is achieving results I've never seen before. So it's rewarding in every possible way you can imagine.
So people listening to this broadcast, I'm going to ask Lang exactly the steps if they want to. And again, you're listening again to the Evolve Health radio show here on the Neil Haley Network. But Lang, I want just to kind of say there's a couple steps people can take. Just the steps. Either they can be, could decide to sell the product, as they can also be a third party selling it at their stores, or they can buy the product, right? There's 3 different ways, right?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So obviously, first of all, I have my website where just once I can get somebody educated on the product, and we have some great, really nice small pamphlets, brochures that kind of pull out that they can get all this kind of information in layman's terms to get educated. But they can go to my site and just order it straight from my site. And because of going to my personal site, they can it's automatically like a promo code. It's already set in there that they can become a preferred customer, and that gives them a percentage off. So they get a little help there on lowering the price. Now, so they can buy it retail, which is basically they become a preferred customer on my site, or yes, if they would like to be a part of the company and really maybe get out there and share it, and would like to get referral money, they can become a true rep of Evolve Health. And the other aspect, as well as the affiliate program, which I really like, that is unique with our product, is for chiropractors, physicians, salons, you name it. There's a whole realm of people that can come out, and we have a program to become an affiliate and to buy enough that they can get up to 50% off to turn around and retail it, because they're not in it for the networking side of it. They're in it to make a retail profit for their store. So we have those different aspects. And again, if they wanted to come on board and really build a revenue stream, then I would gladly be able to talk to them and help them on how they build this in that realm. So those are 3 different ways, very unique opportunity with an incredible product. So yes, thanks.
Okay. And the best place, Sam, for people to go visit to learn more about Evolve Health, where can they go?
Lang, you want to tell them that?
Yes. Whoever shared this podcast with you, go ahead and get back with them and let them know where they can sign up and be a part of this at whatever level they want to be at, whether a preferred customer, they want to be a part of the company, they know some places they'd like to share this with, and they'll be able to guide you through that system.
Okay. All right. Well, fantastic. Again, thanks again for calling, guys. And again, check out Evolve Health and let them know that you listen to this radio show. And I appreciate you guys calling. And Sam, I can't wait to talk about the social part of the business on our next episode. So thanks again for coming by.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Blessings to you.
All right, take care, guys.
Neil.
All right, thanks. Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye. You're listening to the Evolve Health Show. We'll be back in just a moment. We're back to the Neil Haley Show in the Total Celebrity segment. I'm excited to welcome to the program. I know they're nervous. It's the Final Four. I'm excited to welcome the program from The Voice, Dexter and Andrew. Guys, how are you? And you guys got to be absolutely pumped up about Monday, aren't you?
Oh my gosh, yes sir. We're pumped. We're ready to get out there and get on the stage.
Yeah, have a good time, and we're going to put on a show. I guarantee
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, that's the thing. Put on a show, and this is it, right? Dexter, what is your thought going to be on Monday? What you're going to be able to do, your opportunity that you have in the Final Four. What is your thought process, and how are you going to put on that show to win?
Man, we've all been working so hard each and every day trying to to make our craft even better, and our coaches, and going even from our vocal coaches to our band. We've each day we're going in working so hard trying to get this for this finale, and man, we just been trying to prepare for this, and my thought process going into it, we just really want to go out there and just kill the show and just have a good time. And like each week, our coach just tells us, Blake, he's super laid back, and he's just like, man, go out there and just, have fun. You made it this far, and just go out there and just act like it's your show and show America that. And I think that's what's put us to where we're at today.
Absolutely. And how can they vote for you, Dexter? Where's the best place they can vote for you? The fans.
Man, they can. There's so many ways. Yeah, and Andrew, there's so many ways that you can vote. You can vote
NBC.com/voice vote.
Exactly.
The Voice app.
Yeah, the Voice app is free. Don't cost nothing. All thing you got to do is
free. Absolutely free.
Absolutely free. The only thing you got to do is download the app, and it shows you how to vote. It's super simple, and you just you've got a little thing, a little arrow. It's like a little button. You just raise right up.
Yeah, and then you can keep streaming our songs on Apple Music,
and a lot of folks don't. When they say stream, they just like people. A lot of people don't know how to do that. They just like they buy the song, and they just just listen to that one time. But
exactly. Yeah.
Every time you play the song, it's a stream.
It's a stream.
And now they're doing this thing where, all the songs that we've done in the past performances and the current ones that are going to be coming out, the more you stream those constantly, the more votes. Yeah, the more votes. It's like a multiplier, and it kind of helps us out towards the end.
And there's this new thing that what we're doing. It's called the Xfinity remote.
Yeah.
That you can do with that. Like a lot of folks have, some folks have Xfinity TVs, and you can use your remote to do that.
Yeah.
To vote.
So let's go really quickly, Andrew. Same question I asked Dexter. What are your thoughts for Monday, and what your plan is?
Honestly, my thought process for Monday is pretty much just to have a good time. Honestly, because I want to go out and have a good time and just be myself, sing, the songs that I want to sing, and these songs that I've got coming up, I'm really excited for. I think that they're going to kind of show a different side of me, but at the same time, they're going to, show that I still like to have fun, and they can kind of see the kind of artist that I'm going to be, outside of the show as well. So that's kind of my thought process. Just go out and have a good time. Don't get nervous, and just sing my heart out and leave it all on stage.
And what do you want to say to your fans, Dexter, from this journey that you've been on now to the Final Four?
Man, just it's such a humbling and crazy experience that that there's so much love out there for us, and I just want to say thank you to the bottom of my heart. And I couldn't be more blessed to have such an amazing fan base, and it's crazy because there's so I don't even know anybody in different countries, and there's people from different countries that are pouring out so much love and just saying, hey, we love what you're doing, and we can't wait for you to come over to our country and play a show. And that's it's so crazy that, you know, that we've got to be blessed to have a platform as big as what we're on right now, and amazing support back home for even, you know, in Alabama to the United States. It's just amazing. I just want to say thank you so much, and God bless. I couldn't be more happier.
Same question for you, Andrew. For your fans, what do you want to say right now to my nationally syndicated, internationally syndicated audience?
Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody. I mean, I had to go through the Twitter save to make it to the Final Four, and I literally could not be here right now without y'all. Like, you know, I'm truly, you know, honored that you heard something in me, and that you wanted to hear more from me, and you wanted to see me on the show a little more. You know, I am just truly blessed. Thank y'all so much, and I hope I don't disappoint, and I hope everybody enjoys what I got coming in the finale.
All right, fantastic. Everyone needs to tune in Monday night. And Dexter and Andrew will see who wins. And the other Final Four contestants, Maylin and Geith, and see who ends up winning The Voice. But I'm going to be rooting for you guys because you're on my show, and I'll be tuning in Monday as well. So thanks again for calling, guys.
Man, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man.
All right, take care, guys. All right, see you guys. All right, see you later. Okay, bye. You're listening to Neil Haley's show. We'll be back in just a moment.